Well, hello. Welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm Chip,
And I'm CJ.
and it is Monday in the Riv, and we got a big Monday. We got a whole bunch of things to talk about, and I don't know even where to begin. So I'll let you choose from the menu, CJ.
I think we should begin with the lawsuit against the Herald News has against the city of Fall River.
Yeah, that's a biggie. Yeah, we'll probably spend the most time on that, anyways. Yeah, so as we know, the transparency mayor is being sued for lack of transparency. He He will not divulge information. And of course, Runaway Rumsey gave his opinion, but talks about personnel issues. Well, you can redact any personnel information, but the fact is that they signed supposedly an NDA. They just don't want all the facts done. But listen, I always give credit where credit is due, unlike some people. But the reality is that you have to, okay, it's nice that the Herald News actually wrote this article because it's factual. There is a lawsuit pending. It's in August. They're having a hearing in August on it. They're attempting to get information, but let's not forget that this is only one of many uh, lawsuits and misdeeds and misadventures of city employees that the general public was not only not told the specifics of, but how much it cost to settle these things. And they were all settled, most of them with NDAs. We know how much the private investigator cost. We know there were numerous supposed legal transgressions. Yet nothing from the man who said, I'm not Jaisal Career and I'm going to be transparent. He hasn't been transparent. I'll tell you what, we can probably get information from the NSA and the CIA easier than we can get it from the Coogan administration. So this is just a symptom of the fact that we don't know anything. We have spent probably millions of dollars on these lawsuits. Remember, we had 2 sexual harassment suits against Malone. We had a violation of the American with Disabilities Act and a violation of the age discrimination, federal age discrimination suit. How much did they cost? Were they settled? Where are they? No one knows. And then also we have a pending criminal action, which will, I'm sure, be followed by a lawsuit in the school department again. And then we have the supervisor of security, when nobody knows his, well, I guess they know his status, but the general public doesn't know his status. Is he suspended? Is he gone? And there are rumors of his indiscretion. So it's rampant throughout the city, absolutely rampant. And the Wizard of Oz, hiding behind the curtain, Paul Coogan, will not divulge anything. He's the master of the cover-up. He's the opposite. He's the antithesis. And look that one up, knobhead. It's probably too large a word for you to understand. So of transparency. So take it away, CJ.
Well, what's interesting is that the attorney for the Herald News, Klein Sasser, I believe is how they say his name. I hate mispronouncing somebody's name.
So do I.
He says, notwithstanding the heightened concern among Fall River residents about municipal corruption, behind the scene deals, favoritism, and financial misdeed, the city investigation of one of its own department chairs remains shrouded in secrecy. Kleinhauser also noted that the current mayor, Paul Coogan, campaigned on public accountability and transparency, something he has never done or exhibited throughout his entire term in office. And this is why he needs to be replaced. I wish there were other candidates running, but we have what we have. We have 3 candidates running. You need to really review what they stand for, what their position is, not what they've done in the past. What do they plan to do in the future, and make sure it happens, because this is unacceptable. Well, the fact that Rumsey acknowledges that the city entered into this agreement with John Perry, with non-disclosure agreements, and what was the other one that I want to read it? I want to know exactly what it says. As part of the separation agreement, Perry and the city included a confidentiality clause and a non-disparagement agreement, both of which legally prevent the defendant from publicly disclosing the content of the separation agreement, and as such, cannot release the agreement absent an order compelling production by the supervisor of records, which the supervisor of records hasn't given any orders whatsoever because they're useless at times, or by an order from a court of competent jurisdiction. In other words, the superior court.
Well, that's yeah. Well, I mean, that was a very good statement initially by the attorney saying that the people concerned about the level of corruption and patronage in the city. That's very accurate. But I'm going to read another little one, and more importantly, it also contains a detailed summary of confidential statements made by city employees who were asked to discuss Mr. Perry's job performance and possible illegal and/or unethical activities. I have, we've heard of non-disclosure, non-disparaging. Who defines disparaging? I think that is a very critical piece there, because it talks about illegal actions and non-performance. That is not a personnel issue. That is a violation of his duties as an employee. That's a prosecutable offense. You're not supposed to redact that. It was like it would be like saying we can't prosecute a murder case because this guy signed an agreement that he doesn't want to be disparaged, but he murdered somebody. That's ridiculous. These statements are important. We have to see that, and I think they go back to that statement by the attorney that the people of the city of Fall River are concerned about corruption in this administration and patronage, which I've been around a very long time. Everybody, I'm not Pollyanna. I don't sit, around and daydream that the world is a perfect place. Listen, I've dealt with a lot of mayors. They all have patronage. It's part of, unfortunately, the system. But I've never seen it to this degree. We all know that the school department is basically the epitome of patronage, always has been. Because that's like the hermit kingdom. They have autonomy. And then they work with the school committee to suppress everything. But the reality is, I have never seen the level of patronage or corruption or alleged corruption I have seen with this administration. I've also never seen such non-performance from a mayor when it comes to taking care of the business of the city, not taking care of developers, not taking care of his rich friends, but taking care of crimes in the streets, our educational system, and that's the bastion of a city. Safe cities and safe streets. And so this is a very telling article, and it only touches on one issue in a myriad of issues that people are concerned about, and hopefully these people are going to get motivated enough to go to the polls and send a message.
It would be nice, and I can understand why some people feel as though, why should I bother, because my vote doesn't mean anything, and it's going to be the same old any way you look at it, no matter who's in that office. And that's how the apathy keeps growing in this city. But when you look at what is happening, It's your fault. You did it. You elected this mayor. You elected this city council. Who would have ever thought that the city council would be in the mayor's pocket? Who would have ever thought that Joe Camaro would be in the mayor's pocket? I did. I knew it. I knew it. Who would have ever thought that Linda Pereira was in the mayor's pocket? I did. I knew it. I knew it from day one. I knew it from day one because she made it clear that she was. She made statements, inferring that she was in the mayor's pocket, that she was supporting the mayor in everything he did. It is not the job of the city council to support the mayor in everything he does or she does. It's the city council's job to hold the mayor's feet to the fire and to make sure that our money is spent reasonably and expeditiously with fiscal responsibility. Oh, wait a minute. I said that word again. Maybe a financial audit. Wait, a forensic audit. Oh, no, I'm swearing. Oh, no, people are going to be upset.
Yeah, no, it's true, CJ. But we've said it numerous times, not just with this administration, but with everybody, that you have to vote. You can't use that cop out. Oh, nothing's going to change. Well, you're right. If you consider sitting on your bum and doing nothing and looking for a rationalization not to do your civic duty and change government. Look, will government change overnight? Absolutely not. But let's see how fast government changes if you throw these bums out at every election cycle. When you begin to hold them accountable. The Constitution says they are accountable to us at all times, but they are not accountable to us if you don't exercise your right to hold them accountable, which is the right of the vote. Well, yeah, will the next mayor have some patronage? Absolutely. Will the next mayor do things we don't like? Look, nobody can do everything we like. Nobody can agree about everything. But the reality is, if this guy isn't working, you throw him out, you put the next guy in. See how quickly these people kind of toe the line. If they know that they're not going to stay in office for more than one term, if you make that thing a revolving door, and the only way you can stay in a seat is earn that seat. And from what I've seen, there's only one person on the council and one person on the school committee who has earned the right to keep their seat. And we all know who those are: Michelle Dion and Kevin Aguirre. Outside of that, let's try all newbies. And if they don't work, bounce them. Guess what? If people start realizing they have to do the people's business, not the politicians' business, government will change. Will it change overnight? No. But it will change if you do your duty. That's a cop-out. There's nothing I can do. They got all the money. They got all the money because you let them make all the money off of you. It's just like Congress. People compare about the federal government, but they keep electing their own. Throw the other guy out. I don't want to throw my guy out. He's giving me money. He's giving us money over here for some project, but he's not doing the business of the people. So it's up to you. And that's the reality. You can't look. We highlight what we don't think the politicians are doing, and you can call it complaining. You can call it a political observation. You can frame it in any narrative or context you want. But the reality is, we have never ever not said that it's our fault as a voting bloc. It's not technically our fault because I vote in every final election. I have since I left the military. I don't miss elections. Primaries, I'm an independent, not unenrolled, whatever the hell you want to call us. But I'm neither party because I don't believe in that stuff. I think that I don't believe in labels: conservatives, liberals, moderates, you're conservative about what you've got, you're liberal about what you want, and you're moderate about what you don't give a shit about. And that's the reality. These are labels to get votes, appeal to a certain demographic. It's crap. It's crap. People want to keep what they've got, which makes them conservative. That's including the liberals. Try to take money away from the liberals. Try to take Joe Biden's houses away from them and watch him fight his ass off to keep them. So does that make him a conservative? Yes, in that respect. Nobody is one of anything. Nobody, unless you're obviously a complete right-wing or left-wing wingnut. But even them, try to take some of Ilhan Omar's money away from her. See how hard she fights. Try to take away the $1 million she gave her husband to do a study for her. She's a multimillionaire. They all are. But this label crap, it's not about that. It's about performance. And this is the easiest place to judge performance, the local level. Because these people, it's irrelevant what party they're in. Because the only focus they have is the local level in Fall River. And the reality is, if you look at City of Fall River and say, well, am I better off than I was 4 years ago? Are the streets safer? Are the schools better? They're not, in the opinion of most people. If you're one of the connected, if you're one of the rich people, you can say yes, absolutely. But then it's up to us to kick them out. So that's my little political rant to get these people. Don't use that excuse, especially to me, because I will call you out on it. CJ, you there? Uh-oh.
Hold on.
Okay.
Sorry about that. I received an important phone call that I had to take because people like you, they don't pay attention to the fact that we're on the air.
Yeah, and I just got a call from somebody that I just had to remind him.
Yeah.
Well, then again, I mean, this guy had an excuse because we were unceremoniously removed because we had the audacity to exercise our First Amendment rights.
Exactly. So. Exactly. It gets to be very, 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 very painful to keep remembering that. And
That's
as I told you before we went on the air, I want to file that lawsuit already, and I want to ask for $15 million. And no, it's not because I'm greedy, because I want to take that money or my share of the money, and I think Chip is the same way. We're going to put it into an account and use it to sue the city on everything they do, and make them pay for it, to hold them accountable, because that's what we have to start doing. Because the city of Fall River wants to keep doing this, like they're doing with the John Perry report, like they did with the Matt Malone report. They want to keep doing it. And imagine for a second if the court orders the city to reveal the John Perry report. You could then say, hey, the same ruling applies to the Matt Malone report. Do you think they're going to be able to stand behind that anymore? I don't think so. And I think the people have a right to know what Paul Coogan has done with the shady deals he's cutting, because they're shady. They're shady deals.
Well, we all know why these deals are cut. This is not the first one, and I'm not gonna sit here and try to pretend that this is unique. It's not unique. As I said, it's at probably the highest level I've ever seen. But listen, you and I have been around a long time.
Oh yeah,
and we've seen the deals that were made throughout the years, and we all know how this works. They get ready to can somebody. And if that guy's been around any length of time in the city of Fall River, he'll can a couple of newbies, but You get somebody that's been hanging around in the system for a while. You know what the first thing they do is when they get down to the 11th hour and they're going to can them and they're bringing in the guns and we're going to throw you out on your ear. You're going to get nothing, blah, blah. They go, okay, I'm going to throw everybody under the bus. I know where all the skeletons are buried. I know where all the deals were made. I know what this guy did. I know the illegal stuff that guy did. I know the guy. I got pictures of the guy doing oil changes when he was supposed to be working in this on school department property. I got pictures of this guy working on his house when he was supposed to be working. I got pictures of them of all the stuff they stole or whatever.
I get pictures of the driveways being laid.
Exactly. And then you know what happens?
Yep.
Shut up, go away. Here's a settlement, NDA. We're not going to talk about it. You're not going to talk about it because we don't want our skeletons to be thrown out in the middle of the street.
Yeah, for instance, I was given a report, and I haven't confirmed it, so this is unconfirmed, people, and I'm not going to mention the name, but supposedly a city councilor or a former city councilor was having water pipe work done on the outside by the city. And I don't know if it was water pipe or sewer pipe or what it was, because I wasn't there, I didn't see it. But I got several phone calls about it. And when I called and asked, they said, oh, no, none of that's happening. But then again, how would anybody know?
Yeah, we've seen that before. We've seen work done and the city picked up the tab for certain people.
Oh, you mean like the picnic grove that we don't own?
Among others. I know of other people. And listen, I had to pay the excavator when my sewer line had to be replaced.
And that was recently too.
Yeah, very recently, because the sewer line is on my property, and they're not going to pay. If I was the right kind of person, they might have paid. And the thing was, I got a break, and I could have just patched it. But the reality is, my pipe was so old, it wasn't even real pipe. It was tar paper pipe from an old sewer system when they didn't even have, that's how old my house is, that they didn't even have sewerage. And they left that pipe in when the city ran the pipe up into me at my property. So my property still had all that old pipe. So when we had a problem, I had to call to get an excavator in, excavate 40 feet, which was the length of the pipe, my pipe to the city connection, 40 feet. So it cost me quite a bit of money. And but it had to be done. Well, it didn't have to, but then I'd be calling somebody back to do it piecemeal. So, you've got to bite the bullet. But look, we know about the skeletons in the closets. And that's what's virtually everybody in this city who ever left. And we know that. But some of these people are long-term employees. They get to know why it did it alone. That's the one I'm really interested in. That's the one that really piques my curiosity. Because the first question is, how did we even get him here? I mean, this guy was a walk-in lawsuit magnet. How could the city of Fall River and its school committee hire him? He had been run out of the town of Swampscott with lawsuits hanging over his head. He'd been run out of Brockton with lawsuits over his head. Nobody did any homework. Because why? What did he do? Did he say, well, I'm leaving, just that's it. I'll leave. No, in Fall River, he got an extra 8 months of work and pay. But how did we get him in the first place?
Paul Coogan.
Nobody asks that question. They want to know what happened. But
Paul Coogan. That's why we got Matt Malone. And he proved that when he said, "Oh, I can't say anything because my brother is on the human resources director, and I can't make any comments on this. And ethics says that that's the right thing to do." Amazing how it's the right thing to do. But every other hiring process thing he can take part in because his brother is the housing human resource director. Oh, wait a second. And he can negotiate contracts with his other brother
Yeah.
for AFSCME. Isn't that amazing? But where's the ethical part of that? I don't know. It's amazing.
Well, I can tell you what, it's not there. You know, it's bad enough if you had just two of them in the equation. When everything's covered,
Right.
labor side, management side, and funding side. Those are the three elements to get a contract. You got to have labor and management get together, agree to a contract. Then the mayor has to accept it, send it to the city council. So now the mayor happens to be another brother, the Three Musketeers, and then he's also the chairman of the school committee. So, I mean, talk about unethical. Someday they may even write an entire chapter in the ethics commission about this, because it defies human comprehension. As somebody who's negotiated for a very long time, I can tell you, I actually have a written copy of an agreement, a handwritten agreement that they basically coerced these people into giving up their right to bargain and giving it to his brother, who was only here as a resource.
Right.
He was down here to assist the local. Yet they gave him absolute power to go in and negotiate with his brother without them in the room. And the one union leader who tried to fight him, they got rid of. So, I mean, like I said, corruption at its highest level, lack of ethics at its highest level I've ever seen. And that's my opinion. And I'm entitled to it. But I'll tell you what, my opinion's based on a lot of experience in that field.
And
I negotiated with the city for 25 years and a whole bunch of mayors.
And again,
I know the negotiation process inside and out. And so I've never seen anything like that. I mean, that was mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling that he even got a job representing a labor union when he was thrown out of a labor union.
You're right. Right.
It's like, how? Well, I know how. It's political, because that union is really only a dues collection agency. It's not a real union. And if they don't like that, I can prove it, because I've seen many cases where they don't care. They're just going to negotiate for themselves in violation of. And if you want to get it, mini knob, it's Chapter 150E of the Massachusetts General Laws. It's the public employee collective bargaining law. Look it up, and look up the duty to represent, and look up all the other things in that law. But then again, you don't like to actually have facts. You just like to make these observations and that require less than one full brain cell to come to. So,
well, we're just about out of time, so I just want to say, on Wednesday we're going to talk about the electric school buses. Do you know how much an electric school bus costs?
A lot.
$350,000 minimum, and we're getting 10. Yeah, and we're getting 10, and we're not getting anything back that's substantial off our contracts. So there's something that we need to talk about. Definitely.
And remember, when they break down, a battery's going to cost $100,000.
Exactly. Well, I want to thank you all for watching, and remember, stay safe, stay angry, and hold your politicians accountable. We'll see you on Wednesday.